It is literally freezing outside right now, so I'm bundled up in my nice new diamond jacket. And if you want one of these, just drop a DM. But no, it's freezing outside and it is dream season right now. And so that means most likely the first race that you're going to do this next year will be cold. So today I'm going to talk about my 10 hacks for cold weather racing. I'm retired professional triathlete TJ Tollakson, CEO of Diamond Bikes, and let's dive right into it. So, cannonball! If it is cold, and the water in particular is cold, don't get in the water and warm up, okay? Why? Because you're gonna get in and warm up, and it could be a half hour before you can race again, but you don't know if you're gonna have access to things like warmth. And so the danger with warming up in the water is that you may never warm up once you get out of the water. So if the water is cold, and I know you want to get used to it, have your wetsuit on, bring a stretch band with you. You can bring a portable, disposable stretch band. Do some swim strokes, do some arm circles, whatever you got to do to move up. You want to be nice and warm when you jump into the water. And hey, if you get in and do a swim warm up, you will get out of the water and freeze. Number 2, right here, Aquaphor, Vaseline. It comes in tubs, it comes in these neat little tubes. You can use actual petroleum jelly, Vaseline brand. I like Aquaphor. It's a little bougie, but put that on your face. If the water's very cold, especially if the water's gonna be in the 50s, put that on your face because it will help keep your face warm. There's also really good use to put that on the backs of your ankles. Those are the areas that are gonna get rubbed anyway, so put it on the backs of your ankles, and you can put it on the top of your hands. By the way, if you're doing that, make sure you don't use your hand to apply it here or here, because you don't want that Vaseline on your hands when you're swimming because you want to be able to feel the water. If you use your hands, make sure you have a nice cotton towel where you can fully wipe it off the palms of your hands so you can still feel the water. Next step, double cap. So you see this right here would be a race cap that you get right here. Now, if you're just gonna double cap it, if you're not comfortable with the neoprene cap, so the neoprene caps actually go around your chin right here, and sometimes those cause people a choking sensation because it can literally feel like it's choking you while you're swimming, especially when you pick your head up to sight. So if you're not comfortable with that, I recommend getting a silicone cap. Put that on first, put your race cap over the top, double cap that baby, help keep yourself warm in the water. Really good tip. This is my arm warmer, okay? It looks like a bracelet, and the reason I do this is because it's way easier to put this on than to put the arm warmer on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have 2 arm warmers like this. I'm gonna simply put my bracelet on, okay? And I'm gonna use this jacket to simulate what it's like when it's wet, but that way I can simply roll this baby up without having to struggle to get it on my wet skin. And if it's just that far right now, I can take off, I can put it on, and then I can start rolling it up while I'm riding. Anything to prevent you from slowing down in transition is really important. It also becomes easy when you take this off. You can just roll this back down.
That's how easy it is.
The next thing you want to have in your transition, gloves. Now, these are tricky, right? Because sometimes you have like really expensive, nice cycling gloves. Well, this is my hack for you. So I'm going to tell you, go to the hardware store and buy some cheap gloves from the hardware store. They have very different kinds. They have thin ones if it's not super cold, and they have thick ones if it is super cold. But these gloves are really great. They're actually very aero because they're rubber on one side. But you put your hand in this baby, and it keeps you nice and warm, okay? The one thing you don't wanna do is you don't wanna have freezing cold hands when you're trying to ride the bike. And the other nice thing about these gloves, because they have rubber on the outside, they're easier to get your hands into than a lot of other gloves. So if you come out and your hands are numb, okay, it's very hard to grip things and get in, especially if your gloves are really tight.
What is it?
I can't put my arms out!
But this is a great hack, and the best thing about these are cheap and inexpensive. So if it warms up in the day and you no longer need these, simply toss them at an aid station and you don't care. They're not a pair of $100 gloves that you're worried about. They're cheap gloves from the hardware store. Pack these, keep them in your transition bag. They will come in handy, trust me. The next thing that I'm gonna say is actually a tip not to do, okay? Now I know a lot of you think the jacket, because if you were gonna go ride in the rain here on a training ride, you'd put a jacket on because it's warm. Jackets and vests are slow. They're really slow. They are not aerodynamic. So if you are planning on riding over 20 miles per hour, which may not be everybody, but if you're planning on riding your bike over 20 miles per hour, do not put the jacket and vest on. I know it might seem like a smart thing, but try to use as much spandex as you can to stay warm. Once we've done all that, we want to make sure that on our aero helmet, we've got some vents right here, okay? So if it's really hot, you might need a vent to make your head cool. If it's really cold, you want to take some packing tape and tape that vent shut. Take a piece of packing tape, tear it off, stick it on there. Voila, vent closed, heat captured in your helmet. There's 4 vents on this helmet, 4 pieces of tape. It's all closed off, it's really nice. Next thing has to do with your helmet and your glasses, depending on which one you're gonna use. But you wanna take your visor on your aero helmet like this, and you wanna take some of this Tier anti-fog spray, and you wanna coat the inside, and the outside of the lens. You want to do that with your goggles in the swim, regardless of the race, whether it's hot or cold. But you want to do that to your visor or sunglasses when you're racing, because when your body is creating a huge amount of heat and the air temperature is cold, we've got a great recipe for fog and steam, right? So,
can we still make bagels? It's just a little steamy.
This is probably one of my best hacks that I have. So you know what these little hand warmers are, right? You can see them, they sell them at gas stations sometimes when it's cold. Every ski resort has them. Crack these babies open the morning of your race, and then on your shoes, on your cycling shoes, whether they're on your bike or not, you can use one of these booties, which will help keep your feet warm, or just a toe warmer. Now I don't have a cycling shoe on right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and stick this over my shoe like I would in a race if I was gonna put that on, okay? So,
nice shoes.
but what I would do was I would stick this hand warmer in this area between here and the shoe, right there. That's gonna keep my foot nice and warm as I'm riding my bike. And I'll tell you, one of the first things that goes numb when it's cold are your feet. This trick right here is gonna keep your feet warm. You're gonna feel good. If you're not using toe warmers, if you're using a bootie, this also has an aero advantage. It's really fast. You wanna make sure that while you're riding, after you put your foot in, you stretch that around the back of the shoe and zip it up so it looks nice and sleek like that, and it looks like, man, I'm ready to go dancing.
There's no resisting when White Goodman puts on his shiny shoes.
That's an aero bootie. You'll see that during my career, I actually wore these during hot races just for the aerodynamic benefit. So it's twofold. Cold race, it'll keep your feet warm, and 2, it will provide superior aerodynamics. My last one, doesn't matter if it's cold or warm, it's just a hack in general, and it should be a general life lesson for you. Wet wipes. These should be with you for every triathlon you ever do. I don't know how well I can say this, but these are awesome. And I can remember the first person who told me this was actually Tim O'Donnell. We were going down to the start line together in New Orleans, and there was no time to go to the Kaibo, and we were running out of time, and
IBS.
T.O. saved the day with the wet wipes. There you have it, my 10 hacks to help you race in the cold. Hope you enjoyed this. If you have any more comments or you just want to stay warm in one of these nice bomber jackets, let me know. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, you want to see more of it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I've got all kinds of great Ironman tips on training, nutrition, racing, amazing content. I would love for you to join me on this journey. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Check it out every week.